with this would need, Joanne gave me the list, gave me 3 sources for labs that do this testing. I want to pull together the cost from those labs. She also gave us a source for state funding for water quality monitoring. I don't know how, I don't want to raise our hopes too much, but there is actually a specific Mass State DEP fund for water quality monitoring.
Herb, I think I was going to raise the question of funding. We sort of have 3 stages. One is testing,
Yes,
one is preparing a report, one is actually taking action. But I think it'd be great to get in touch with the state agency about the monitoring and the testing and see what they could do. If I might, the only thing I would ask you to do is keep in mind that not all 8 ponds are the same priority. My top 3 are gull, long, and duck. But it may be that it would be sufficient to focus on those. But that depends on funding.
okay, yes, I'm not sure at this point. I agree with you, and
Well, just keep it in mind. You don't have to agree with me. Just keep it in mind. But I think getting in touch with the state agency would be very important. And really, what I'm thinking about in terms of funding is not only paying for the testing, which is important, but any action plan is going to be, we're going to have to redo or get redone a bunch of septics, and where the money comes from,
yes,
for that is a big chunk of money. And much as we love ponds, ponds are only a small proportion of the town of Wellfleet lives on a pond.
yes.
So just keep it in mind. It's a hard path, but I think getting the testing started is within reach, and I think you've made it a good start at that.
Yeah, I also, Joanne also gave me the list, and I can't find it right now, of the other towns near us that test ponds. I know Eastham does, and Orleans does, and Harwich in our area.
Right.
And I think we should be getting in touch with them to see how they fund it. One of the side issues that Laura and I have talked about in this, and I don't know whether it fits into this plan, is probably should be a Wellfleet Pond Coalition. Right now, the closest to that is the little group we work with, Gupaka, which has always been focused on the Gull Pond chain of ponds, because that's where we're from. I've gone out to the board of that and said, we think it's probably time to change that into a Wellfleet Pond Coalition and reach out to people who either live on or have interest one way or another in the other ponds in Wellfleet. And I think Laura and I are both thinking on this primarily as another potential source of funding. And the more I listened to this conversation this morning, the more I realized that is something we should be doing. The question is, who's the we on that? Is it Laura and I as citizens? Do we bring that into part of the ponds management plan?
It's Laura and yourself as members of this committee who would support support this. I would just say, I think there is, and you know the individuals, I always forget the name. There's one family on Duck Pond, and they're very supportive.
Yes,
And
they are, Garrison.
I think, I just get the sense that through that family, there might be some access to funding or some suggestions on how to get the funding. So
Well,
I think Group PACA has been a terrific benchmark in getting this program going. But I think going the next step and bringing in other ponds is, I think that's important. First of all, it just builds the support base.
Yes. An open question that come up that we haven't resolved yet is the question of the extent to which we bring plants into the pond management plan, plant life. We've always, everything we've talked about up till now is water quality. Yet there is a problem with invasive plants in some of the ponds, Phragmites specifically. It's an extremely aggressive invasive plant. Stephen Smith of the Seashore has been doing some work in this area, but it's not yet really a part of our pond management plan. And I believe it should be. Phragmites could, and Phragmites taking over a pond could change the nature of that pond. And it's possible that happens.
I think it's important, maybe not quite the same high priority as some of the other things we've just been talking about on ponds, but talk to Steve and I need to get a sense of how much priority the Seashore Management gives to the work he's doing on invasives. I guess my last sense was that, and this was talking to Sophia, that maybe they're willing to step back a bit from the monitoring. I may have read that wrong, but they were still interested in the work that Steve was doing on Phragmites and other invasives. So it would be good to confirm that.
Yeah, we're going to
it's a very frustrating task for Steve, because you can hack away in invasives and then you come back in a year and you find out they're still there. It's a tough grind.
Yes, and the only effective means of fighting Phragmites that anyone's found is glyphosate Roundup. And that's controversial using that.
Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it.
We're still, I think Laura and I are still on right to meet with the Conservation Commission on the 16th. Is that a go, that meeting?
As far as I know, let me check with Hillary.
Okay, because I think another element we have to understand here better is who has authority over the ponds. And I'd like to, and I think Conscom has more knowledge on that than we do.
That's a very good question. The Seashore's involved, the state's involved, town is involved, local residents are involved. What the town actually owns is only a few beaches.
Yes, but the Seashore did cede, or the state ceded control, Seashore stated ceded control of some of the ponds to the state, and the state has ceded control to Wellfleet. It's uneven within the Seashore. I have to read up on that myself.
I think that would be, I think that would be a great issue to raise with Hillary. I've heard that story, but I don't know what the, how legally firm it is, that it does it actually have a legal, does the state just say to the town, oh, well, you guys take care of it, or did the state actually say, we expect you to do something and we've ceded you certain authority?
Yeah, the state did actually cede the control, the authority.
Okay, well, then I think it's important that we get that document in front of us.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if you could locate that document and discuss it with Conscom on the 16th. Because then the town authority obviously is going to go to Conscom. The action authority.
Laura, what do you, I've been rambling on here.
You did a great job, Herb. You
Yeah.
got it all. I think the only other thing is we were going to circle back to Sophia again and find out which of the criteria the park has historical numbers on, so that we could make sure those were some of the things we were continuing with. But otherwise, I think you got it. Thank you.
Yeah, Sophia essentially has just started working. She has this mandatory furlough in February, and then had a couple of days off this week. So she's just basically back to work today or tomorrow. And so we're gonna try and set up something with her in the next week. So that's where we are.
I think we're making good progress. I think we know what we have to do. Sometimes that could be, well, that's certainly necessary. Taking some of the steps down the road are going to be difficult, and we'll have to keep discussing that. I would like to finish. I sent out drafts of a couple of old minutes from NRAB meetings, one in December and one in January. You should have all had seen a copy. I had one correction from Laura. So if everyone is happy, could I have a minute, motion, first of all, to approve the December minutes? I've forgotten the date, actually.
16th.
December 16th.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
I observe it's 5-0. And then there was one in January.
Those look
And I
fine.
think Laura. Okay. So may
I
have a
forget
minute,
which one I sent the typo corrections back on, but
Okay.
January.
Yeah. I'll assume that the motion we just approved was subject to the correction that Laura gave. May I have a motion on January if there's no objection?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion is moved and accepted. Vote, please raise your hands. Aye. 5-0. So my action is to get out over this weekend what an RFP would look like for the harbor survey, and to listen carefully to the select board on Tuesday, assuming that this comes up, and we'll report back after that. I think John is right about having a up-to-date RFP document, because no matter how we go ahead, that will be critical to the endeavor. Good discussion. It's actually kind of fun. Usually we all just say yes, 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 but we actually had some controversy and discussion, and I think we've arrived at a good point. Any other points that people would like to raise?
Just very quickly, I just wanted to emphasize, which I didn't enough, how helpful Joanne Muramato of APCC was in the conversation I had with her. And I don't know whether you go with her to her seeking any advice on the harbor as well. But she's extremely knowledgeable, extremely willing to be helpful.
Well, my answer is that I'll send her an email to thank her for the help she's giving us. And I was APCC are one of the people that I was going to send the RFP to, not necessarily because I think they would undertake the project, though they might, but so they know what we're doing and to see if they have any suggestions.
Yeah.
So,
As long
okay,
as we're
great.
mentioning, as long as we're mentioning names here, John, does anybody know Brenda Bolin? Does that even ring a bell to anybody here?
Name is familiar, but please fill in the.
So, yeah, she's a sister of somebody who I work with in real estate, but she's somewhere in the hierarchy of either the APCC or the Friends of Pleasant Bay or the Pleasant Bay Alliance. I honestly forget which one, but she was a lead, one of the people that was involved with the study in Pleasant Bay. So I was just wondering if anybody knew her or had a relationship with her, but she might be somebody else that could offer insight into what they got out of their report, what they would do differently if they ever did it again. So it was just a name that popped out. Other than Brad Chase, she was the only one I recognized anywhere along the way. That's it.
Do you know Brad Chase or?
Brad Chase, I do know. I've actually got correspondence with him back and forth about this harbor survey, more than once. So he knows what we're interested. I just don't know where he is in the hierarchy anymore. I believe he does still work for DMF. I just don't know where he is. But he would be somebody, because he was heavily involved in the one up in Salem Sound and knows what the grunt work was. I think he would be somebody worth talking to about it. And certainly he would be somebody worth pointing out. He's very supportive of our efforts to do this, the harbor survey, so that he would be somebody that could speak to the select board or, speak on behalf of our efforts to get this done.
What I'm thinking too, John, is he might, if we have to go to external funding, which he may well do, he probably knows some good sources. So
There you go. Okay.
let's keep that in mind. Anyhow, thanks for all your thoughts at this meeting, and I'll let you know how the select board sees us.
Thanks.
John, what
Bye now.
is that? What time is that select board meeting on Tuesday?
6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time
So 3 o'clock Pacific.
and 4 o'clock Mountain.
I got a silly question, but we obviously, because it's a public meeting, we can all attend it. Do we need to post it that like more than three
No.
of us, two of us
No.
or something? No.
No, because we're not attending as a group, we're attending as individuals.
But we are allowed to speak. All right, that's fine. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but I just remember somebody got in trouble for that. For not posting. I think it was Shellfish Advisory Board. You got yelled at for.
Yeah, but they were coming to a meeting as the Shellfish Advisory Board.
Okay.
here I have been delegated to go, and anyone else who wants to listen in can listen in as a private citizen.
Okay, I think what it was is that maybe it was because they were talking about things amongst themselves as the board. So, all right, I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. I just wanted to make sure we weren't violating any,
I don't believe
meeting laws.
so. I don't believe so.
All right,
Okay, take care. Thank you.
thanks, John.
Take care, everybody.
Appreciate it. See y'all.
See y'all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Damn it, motherfucker.